Hi, I'm Jeff Hoyt, Editor-in-Chief of SeniorLiving.org. Do you know a senior who's struggling to pay their taxes? Today I'm speaking with attorney Eric Olsen about how many seniors can legally avoid paying taxes that they owe. Eric is an expert on this topic, as he's the founder of the Helps nonprofit law firm, which serves senior citizens, veterans, and disabled persons struggling with debt. Based on his vast experience and knowledge, Eric will describe the many ways that low-income seniors can avoid giving up necessities such as food and medicine just to pay their tax bills. As Eric is in Salem, Oregon, and I'm in Los Angeles, we will be conducting this interview online via Zoom. Hi, it's Jeff Hoyt, Editor-in-Chief of SeniorLiving.org. And once again, today I'm speaking with Eric Olsen. Eric's an attorney and the executive director of the Helps nonprofit law firm, which helps seniors, along with veterans and legally disabled people who are struggling with debt. So hi, Eric.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
We're thrilled you can pass on your information. Last time we talked, we had hundreds of thousands of people watch a video with you talking about what happens when seniors owe debts, but we really focused on consumer debts. And today I want to talk about income taxes, like federal income taxes.
Sure.
So why is it that seniors might all of a sudden find themselves owing income taxes?
Well, it's not unusual. In fact, it's really common. A variety of reasons. A lot of times, maybe seniors have income and have tax problems, and they're kind of struggling to pay the taxes. And then when they retire, their income goes down, but they still owe the tax debt. And so they carry it with them into their senior years. Maybe something happened and they took a withdrawal from their retirement in some form and they weren't required to pay withholdings or they didn't pay enough and they end up owing taxes. So there's any number of reasons where a senior might find that they owe IRS taxes or even state taxes. It's pretty common, and seniors are worried about it and concerned about it.
So their concern, it's like, it's one thing if you owe MasterCard or Visa, but if you owe the IRS, could you go to jail if you don't pay your taxes?
No, there's no crime for not paying your taxes. Technically, it's a crime to not file your taxes if you're required to file them. But IRS is pretty lenient on that for people that are late and have problems with that. So that's nothing for people, especially for seniors or disabled people or people that have problems with common people. They just won't have a problem with that if they haven't filed the taxes. Just they should file them, but no, there won't be a problem with that way.
But we all hear horror stories about people, worried about losing their home, for example, if they don't pay the taxes. Is that something that happens?
No, won't happen. Okay. I give an example. I mean, I suppose that if you drive to the convenience store tonight, you could get hit by a drunk driver, right? At 10 o'clock. Jeff, do you worry about that if you're going to drive to the convenience store at 10 o'clock?
No.
So it's theoretically possible. Okay, I've been an attorney for 42 years, probably filed 40, 50,000 bankruptcies. I can never recall in any of those instances a client came to me and the IRS was trying to take someone's home. Okay, I mean, they don't do it. And now that might happen for people that are multimillionaires and have tons of money and tons of taxes, but not for the people that we're talking about. It's not, the IRS does not go around taking people's homes. Now, that means they may file a lien, but they're not going to, and they may in certain instances try to garnish a bank account, but that's rare. But no, people aren't going to lose their homes if they owe taxes.
Well, good to hear. When you talk about garnishing a bank account, that could be a death blow for certain people. Does the IRS try to take Social Security money or pension money out of a bank account?
Well, we don't see the IRS garnishing people's bank accounts. I mean, it can happen, but for our clients, seniors, but the IRS can do what's called a set-off of 15% of Social Security for past due income taxes. Before that happens, they send a notice out that they're going to set off 15% of Social Security and after 60 days. And there's ways that can be stopped, but a person's Social Security won't be set off until they're given notice. Okay.
So if I get a 60-day notice, what should I do other than calling you and your law firm?
There's probably a lot of people, a lot of seniors, and that have offsets of their Social Security to pay past due income taxes. And I suspect, I will honestly believe a majority of seniors probably could qualify for currently not collectible status with IRS, and they wouldn't have to pay anything for taxes. And the only reason they are paying the tax, or they just don't know that there's a solution that they don't have to pay the taxes. They can get on currently not collectible status with IRS and not have to pay them.
And how does one go about doing that, getting on currently non-collectible status?
Okay, so the way it works kind of as a general parameter is that if you have income within 200% of the poverty line, then you can qualify for currently not collectible status with the IRS. There's a process for that to happen. And I can kind of tell you how that happens. First off, if you owe more than $10,000 and in taxes, and you're going to have to fill out a form automatically called 433. And that's a form where you put your income and your expenses. And then if it shows that you don't have enough money to pay your taxes, then they'll put you on non-collectible status. Now, a lot of people don't understand that they can fill out that form and get on non-collectible status. They also don't understand what numbers need to go on that form. Once again, the IRS publishes this information, and maybe we can get a link at the end of this video. And it's kind of complicated. They have different criteria for different standards for transportation, for housing, for food, for medicine. And often it's based on the area of the country where you live. IRS won't tell people where these standards are, but they're there and they're available to see. And so what we see a lot of people doing sometimes is they think they have to pay their taxes. So no matter how poor they are, they might go without medicine or food or cut things back to pay taxes, when in fact their budget under IRS guidelines would allow them to qualify for currently not collectible status with the IRS, and they wouldn't have to pay anything. So if you owe less than $10,000 and your income is minimal, you may not be required to file that form. If your only income is Social Security and it's a small amount, you can call the IRS, and the IRS, the agent you talk to has authority to put you on non-collectible status. And you have to actually, tell them, hey, I can't pay this. And they might ask you some numbers, but if you're poor enough, that IRS agent has enough authority to put you on non-collectible status. There's a number for it. I forget what it is. It's like Form 53 or Form 54, and they do it themselves. And that happens a lot for seniors that are poor or lower income. They can call the IRS and simply do that. Now, they may not need to do that until they got a notice from the IRS that the IRS intends to offset their Social Security. A lot of seniors, they owe a small amount of taxes, and the IRS may send them notices, but they'll never take active measures to try to collect, like doing an offset. And so they have internal rules or guidelines that say, if this person owes less than this amount in taxes, we're not going to do anything. We're not going to try to collect. We'll send them the notices, maybe threaten them, but we're not going to try to offset their Social Security. But if they do send that offset, there's a way there's enough time to stop it and get on currently not collectible status with IRS.
Right. And to be clear, even though our audience tends to be seniors, this is not an age-based requirement that anyone can be put on this non-collectible status. regardless of age.
Exactly. If you're disabled or Social Security where your income is steady in the same amount, you can be put on that kind of indefinitely. You won't have to renew it. Okay. But let's say you're temporarily unemployed or you've gone through some temporary problem and you apply for it and you get on currently not collectible status, you'll probably be required to reapply for it maybe in a year. Now, one thing I want to point out, it's important, okay? The IRS will never call you and tell you they're going to do this. They'll send you one letter, and that will go to the last address they have for you. So if you've moved and you haven't, and they don't have your right address, and you don't get that letter, and all of a sudden you're getting 15% of your Social Security taken off, and you know about it, it's probably because IRS doesn't have your correct address. They sent you a letter, you just never knew about it. So it's kind of important to keep them informed where your address is.
Especially if you owe them money.
Yeah.
So it sounds like whether you have a high income or low income, that either you're filling out a form or a IRS agent is helping you get the information to fill out the form themselves. But there's certainly ways that you can avoid paying taxes if your income or current assets prevent you from paying it. You shouldn't have to give up food or medicine in order to pay back taxes.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's IRS is compared to student loans, which we may talk about later, they're relatively easy to work with in this area. I guess another thing I should point out is, so if seniors that owe taxes, they probably owe other debt as well. And sometimes a senior will get a form in the mail that's called a 1099-C. And that's essentially a notice that says, hey, it's filled out by maybe you owed a credit card debt or a car that was repossessed or a loan that went bad. And the company you owe the money to sends this notice to the IRS, and they need to send that so they can write it off for their taxes. But the significance is that, that 1099-C can attribute that debt that they wrote off as income to a senior. And so sometimes seniors are worried about that. They take it into their tax preparer, if they even need to prepare taxes. And they're worried that, if they were forgiven the $50,000 in debt, that they're going to owe $50,000 taxes based on $50,000 worth of income. Well, not so. Won't happen. My experience is the IRS doesn't actively go after 1099-Cs for seniors. They just don't do it. But there is a form called a 984. And if you're insolvent, which means that your debts exceed your assets, which is the case for many seniors, and when I talk about debts, I'm talking about debts from the past, anything they might owe. If that's more than your assets, then you're insolvent and there's no tax liability. So, but even if there was a tax liability, for the reasons I told you before, the person can get on non-collectible now status and not have to pay it. So they shouldn't be scared if they get a 1099-C.
Once again, reassuring news. Now, we've been talking about IRS and federal income tax. People watching this video could be in any one of our 50 states. Are there any state tax ramifications you can talk about that apply to the entire country?
Social Security and pensions under ERISA, which is almost any type of retirement pension that a person receives, 401k, they're protected under a federal law called ERISA from 1974. And what that means is a state tax collector cannot take any of your Social Security or your retirement income. They can't do it. They can't take your VA benefit. It's protected by federal law. And it's even when this income is deposited into your bank account, there's a federal rule that tells banks they have to automatically protect twice the amount of your federal benefit, which is Social Security and a pension, or Social Security or a federal benefit. No matter what monies are in there, is protected from garnishment automatically, including from a state tax collector. So a state tax collector normally won't tell you that. I mean, they're generally pretty aggressive on trying to collect from people. In the state where I live, we had to go to the legislature and get the laws rewritten to get the state to agree to notify seniors that their income was protected. They were in the habit of garnishing money out of people's bank accounts or threatening them when they clearly knew they were on Social Security and their income was protected. And so there's a lot of state tax collectors that are actively collecting from poor seniors. Now, once again, if people can afford to pay their taxes, they should do it. But, these laws protect seniors that are poor or lower income that don't have the money.
Good to hear. And you mentioned tax liens earlier. Is it something that seniors should worry about?
Generally, no. IRS is not terribly active about filing a tax lien, and there's a lot of misconceptions about a tax lien. So, first off, as a general rule, IRS has 10 years to collect taxes. After that, they become no longer have to pay them. Okay, a tax lien is a lien on your real property or land where the tax lien is filed, and that is generally in the county, sometimes the state where you live. Okay, it's just a lien. It sits there. It doesn't mean the IRS is going to try to take your home or take that land. It's just a lien that puts anyone on notice that if you sell the property, that lien is going to have to be satisfied or paid. Now, there's ways to have that lien removed. When the statute of limitations run on the taxes, it's going to be pulled out. It's possible for a person to file bankruptcy and eliminate taxes in certain instances. But a senior shouldn't be worried about a tax lien that is going to mean they're going to lose their home, is going to cause a big problem. And once again, even for seniors that owe money, we don't see IRS filing tax liens that often.
So summing up, how can your organization that helps nonprofit law firm help people who are having tax issues?
Well, first off, we help people that have other debt problems. And usually when they owe taxes, they owe credit cards and medical bills. And what we do is we represent seniors nationwide as their attorney in order to receive debt collector communication. Under federal law, if you have an attorney, debt collectors have to leave it alone. They can't call you or send you demand letters anymore. And so that's what we do is we send out letters to the companies that people owe money to, tell them we represent them. The senior's income is Social Security or pension is protected, and they have to communicate with us and not them. So if they owe taxes, what will tell the senior? It will tell the senior exactly kind of what I told you. Nothing is going to happen, probably. If they do get a notice from the IRS that the IRS intends to garnish or do an offset of their Social Security, let us know, because we can contact the IRS, and we have paralegals that will help prepare the paperwork to get them on non-collectible now status. Now, if they call us on the phone and they're already having 15% of their Social Security being offset, we can help them to get that stopped. And sometimes it's as easy as a phone call if they're low enough income to get it stopped. But once again, I just think a lot of people that are having their Social Security offset, they don't need to worry about it. But if they are, it can be prevented or stopped. They just don't know that.
Well, that's why I'm speaking with you, so they can learn that. So if someone does want to contact you and your law firm, how would they go about doing that?
So they can get a hold of us. Our website is www.helpsishere.org. That's help with an S on the end of it. And we've got a lot of YouTube videos too that address issues, including regarding taxes that seniors owe, on our YouTube page. And they can also call HELPS toll free, 855-HELPS-US. That help with an S on the end of it, US. We're a 501c charitable organization. We don't turn anyone away that needs our help that we provide. And seniors can always call us, or disabled persons. We'll talk to them, answer their questions. We can help them if they owe other debts so they don't need to worry. And that's what we're here for.
Great. Really appreciate it. This has been attorney Eric Olsen, the executive director of the Helps nonprofit law firm, explaining how for certain seniors, if they owe taxes, they may not have to pay them. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate having me.